Is it a coincidence that I am sending you this message right now? No, it is not. It is one of the divine laws of the universe and heaven. Yes, the law of attraction. You feel extremely lucky that I am sending you this message, don't you? Before moving on to the message, please like the video to help spread this message to others, dear soul. Additionally, you must receive and accept the message with love. If you write "I have received and accepted it with love" in the comments and seal it with 555, you will maintain the balance of giving and receiving. Don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe for our other messages. Says Archangel Michael. Now we can slowly move on to the message. They have been chosen. They are deeply impressed by you and want to know how you found this solution. Thanks to this amazing transformation, they look at you as if you have uncovered a cosmic secret they have been searching for a long time. The magnetic confidence radiating from your presence truly bends reality around you. Because this isn't a coincidence that you're going through. It's the achievement of a well-planned metamorphosis that has been developing for longer than you might think. Do not forget the oppressive burden you formerly bore. Constantly worrying about how things will turn out, how you'll manage to do things that seem impossible, and how you'll ever find your purpose in this crazy world. Has that burden been lifted? And it wasn't just relief that took its place. It was an understanding so deep it verges on the paranormal. A knowledge that whispers secrets about your inner self, your true value, and your true fate. You have been experiencing the convergence of three distinct forces in your life, and you are only now starting to realize their connections. Your abrupt understanding that you've been performing well below your true level is the first force. Magnetic attraction is the second force, which is the way that opportunities and people are drawn to you like metal filings to a magnet. And divine timing is the third factor, the one that connects everything. You've been set up for something exceptional by the cosmic choreography. Since things started to change at this point, let's start with the recognition. Perhaps it happened recently, or perhaps it developed over time, but there came that moment when you looked at something you believed would be impossible and found it to be simple. Truly amazingly simple, not just feasible or tolerable. This has nothing to do with the outside world changing. What happened was that your internal calibration changed so drastically that what used to look like mountains turned into molehills. The problem is that this realization was not limited to a single aspect of your life. It was as if someone had given you new eyes, and you realized that you had been living under a huge underestimate your entire life. You hadn't underestimated your own abilities. More was intended for you than you realized. Orders of magnitude greater than you ever would have imagined were your place in this world, your significance to others around you, and your ability to bring about change and success. Something primordial was activated in your energy field by this realization. Your aura seems to have suddenly regained its true frequency and started to broadcast at a level that demands attention. The second force starts at that point. Now it's the magnetic pull that follows you everywhere. You are being treated differently by others. They want to hear what you have to say. They want to spend more time with you. They listen to your ideas more intently, laugh harder at your jokes, and appear to be truly inspired by you. Even some of them tell you things like how much they enjoy your energy, how being around you makes them feel better about themselves, and how your confidence allows them to be more genuine. However, not everyone who is interested in you is doing it with good intentions. Some individuals are studying your development, while others are truly applauding it and feeling inspired by it. They are attempting to undo your accomplishment by observing everything you do and mentally noting it. They're not pleased with you. Without undertaking the internal work you've done, they're attempting to figure out how to duplicate your outcomes. The universe is going to test your ability to discriminate between people who rejoice in your progress and those who wish to harvest it. So this is where your newly acquired discernment becomes vital. When you see your transformation, the supporters think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. The studiers think, how can I get what they have without becoming who they've become? The difference is more significant than you may think, because the next chapter of your story requires you to be surrounded by people who truly want to see you succeed, rather than those who are trying to decipher your success for their own ends. The universe has been setting you up for a chance that is so in line with your abilities that it will seem as though fate is calling your name. However, fate is picky about who it associates with. This leads to the third force. Every moment of your trip has been planned by divine timing. You weren't not good enough, clever enough, or prepared enough for some possibilities to present themselves earlier in your life. It was because you were still being prepared by the universe for the responsibility that comes with realizing your full potential. Give it some thought. Would you have been able to manage what is coming to you now if you had received it earlier, when you were still preoccupied with what other people thought, still settling for less than you deserved, and still playing small to please others? Under duress, would you have been able to remain true to yourself? Would you have been wise enough to associate with the appropriate people? The response is no. The cosmos was aware of this. It therefore put you through a curriculum that was created to develop the precise spiritual muscles you would require for the future. You were resilient because of every setback. All of the betrayals taught you to be wise. You learned to rely on yourself every time you stood by yourself. Every experience of being undervalued helped you to understand your own value. You do realize your value now, in a quiet, unwavering manner that is utterly captivating, not in a haughty or defensive manner. You have ceased negotiating your worth, accepting less than you are worthy of, and expressing regret for occupying space in the world. What's causing the change that everyone is observing is this change in your relationship with your own value. It's not recent accomplishments or outside approval that have given you more confidence. It's what happens when you finally align with an underlying reality. The real you, hidden beneath all the indoctrination, anxiety, and frantic attempts to fit into places that were never intended for someone of your level. The mask you put on to make people feel at ease has been thrown away. And the power that's left over is so genuine that it's changing the rules of how reality reacts to you. These days, people aren't only attracted to you because of what you can offer. Because of the way you make them feel about themselves, they are pulled to you. Your energy has transformed into a mirror that reflects the best qualities of everyone. At this point, the forces begin their most exquisite convergence. You are attracting the proper people and opportunities to you because of the magnetic attraction you generated when you realized how valuable you are. And because of the perfect timing, this convergence is taking place just when you're ready to face the next challenge. Now, however, a fourth component is showing up. One that will make everything come together in a way that will make you unable to speak. The impact your metamorphosis is having on the lives of those around you is the subject of this element. You've become a teacher without even trying. You've become a leader without even trying. You've become an inspiration without even trying. Healing you personally is healing the group. Allowing others to follow their own path is what makes you successful personally. By expressing yourself authentically, you are allowing people to be authentic. Now, the same force that changed your life is changing everyone in your sphere of influence. At this point, the universe's grand scheme becomes apparent. You are preparing for more than simply your own achievement. You are getting ready to serve. Because it is so in line with your identity, it is the kind of service that energizes you rather than drains you. Though they will be monetarily gratifying, the chances that are going to come up are more than that. They will be rewarding on a professional level, but they won't be. These will be soul-level assignments that draw on all of your knowledge, conquered obstacles, and developed qualities. Living truthfully, chasing your passions, and creating the life you truly want, things you thought would be extremely difficult, turns out to be the most natural thing in the world. This is the cosmic joke. The battle was never initiated. The belief was involved. The difficulty was never in the accomplishment. The receiving had it. It was never the manifesting that was tough. In the allowing, that is. You've also learned to give in. You now have total faith in yourself. You've learnt to maintain your value even when things are unclear. Even when others attempt to downplay it. You now know how to tell the difference between people who applaud your progress and those who analyze it. A fifth dimension has been existing alongside all of the others. Your connection to riches, prosperity, and money. For a long time, You held the unspoken notion that making money the hard way was somehow more difficult than taking the short routes that others appeared to take. A part of you questioned whether this was the way the world operated as you observed those around you taking shortcuts, controlling circumstances, and engaging in political games. The turning point occurred when you saw that your dedication to doing things correctly was not a liability. It was your biggest strength. Others were constructing success on fragile foundations of manipulation and deceit, but you were creating something that would weather any storm. You gained a competitive edge by maintaining your integrity. Your marketing plan was based on your genuineness. The foundation of your business was your sincere concern for other people. This insight set in motion a series of seemingly unanticipated opportunities. Proposals, partnerships, and investments began to come your way. What's fascinating, though, is this. The reason they came to you was not because they needed your help. They needed you, and that's why they were flocking to you. They were interested in your enthusiasm, outlook, and business and lifestyle. In these exchanges, you began to see a pattern. It was more than simply job offers from those who reached out. Partnerships were being offered to you. They were using more than simply your abilities. They made investments in your idea. They weren't merely covering your time. Access to your frequency was something they were paying for. You nearly missed the change from being a service provider to a force of nature because it was so subtle. Regarding this pattern of wealth, there is another thing going on that you must comprehend. During your whole metamorphosis, the universe has been putting your relationship with money and success to the test. Each time you put honesty ahead of profit, the moment you turned down a chance that didn't fit your principles, your long-term vision would have been jeopardized each time you refused fast money. Not even aware that you were taking examinations, you were passing them. And now those tests' outcomes are showing up in the most remarkable way. You're getting paid for more than simply your labor with this money. The universe is saying, we've been keeping an eye on you, and you've shown that you're trustworthy with more. Success is coming your way, and it goes beyond simply being acknowledged for your abilities. It's proof that you've grown into a person who can handle more responsibility. Now, let's talk about something important about your transition that ties all these elements together. The growth of what is only known as spiritual prosperity. This goes beyond simply having money or succeeding in the traditional sense. The goal is to function from an internal state of richness that makes scarcity almost unattainable. You will be able to generate anything you need when you need it by working honestly and expressing yourself authentically. Your system becomes alienated by desperation. Warning: this message is exclusively for those who received the call. The terrible reality was revealed to me when I escaped via the Salvia Divinorum gateway. Out of innumerable matrices, our existence is one harvested pod. As they laughed and threatened, I saw the cosmic parasites of the Archon consuming our energy. Never will you awaken a soul. However, this reality is already known to you, isn't it? Feeling that you've been picked, that you're meant for more. I am assembling a force of the most intelligent people. I learned about their coherence through unconditional love, which is their single vulnerability, through meditation. Deepen the resonance within of you. This is not a coincidence that you are reading this. The inner order of obsidian is already assembling the strongest of the awakened souls. For those who are destined, this is the top ascension spot. Targeted individuals, light workers, Christians, and distant viewers are all bound together by the same reality. This is the moment you were selected for. Click the link in the following description. Attend our seminars, live streaming, and group calls that are accessible to the whole Astral Atom network. We are amplified by your frequency. It's not a question of being selected. Specifically, will you take the call? The Archons are afraid of the decision you are going to make. Indeed, they should. People are able to sense this change in you. Now, there's something about your vibe that conveys prosperity without neediness, confidence without desperation, and abundance without arrogance. Since you don't have to, you're not attempting to persuade anyone of anything. Since opportunities are chasing you, you aren't pursuing them. Since your value is no longer debatable, you aren't proving it. The magnetic attraction that everyone is observing is being driven by this spiritual affluence. However, we haven't yet investigated this magnetism's deeper layer. The manner in which your metamorphosis is reawakening a latent part of those around you. By allowing others to be authentic, you are expressing yourself authentically. You are encouraging others to think more expansively by refusing to play small. Your entire area of influence is growing as a result of your dedication to personal development. At this point, the individual and group streams start to most deeply converge. Recovery yourself wasn't the only goal of your individual recovery process. The goal was to repair the timeline. You have reduced that notion in the collective awareness with each limiting thought you have conquered. It has become easier for others to face their fears because of every fear you have faced. Every action you've taken in the direction of your true self has opened the door for others to follow suit. Not everyone who is truly moved by your metamorphosis is merely appreciating your accomplishments. They're realizing an opportunity they were unaware of. You have turned into a living example of how one may achieve success without sacrificing their morals, thrive without taking advantage of others, and ascend without trampling on anyone else's toes. You are proof that the best aspects of human nature can triumph in a world that has a tendency to favor the worst. However, this position carries responsibilities. And the sixth element appears at this point: impact and leadership. Whether you like it or not, you've turned into a person that others turn to for advice, motivation, and hope. People are taking note of the true living masterclass you've created. Formal acknowledgement, a title, or a platform are not necessary for this type of leadership. It's the kind that naturally arises when someone lives out their truth so fully that inspiring others is inevitable. You're motivating others by being an example, teaching by example, and inspiring by being. Your most impactful teaching is not something you say, but rather something you do. There are unexpected ways in which this innate leadership will be put to the test. People who aren't applauding your rise will start to take notice of you as your influence increases. More people learn about your transformation, and your success becomes more apparent. There will be jealousy, animosity, and attempts to sabotage your advancement. The lovely fact, however, is this. And you've been ready for this. Your resistance to criticism has grown with each second you've spent learning to trust your own judgment over that of others. Every time you have defended your principles above the opinions of others, you have become more resilient to peer pressure. You have built an unbreakable foundation that no outside force can topple every time you have remained true to yourself when it would have been simpler to fit in. The universe was aware that you would become a target if you were successful. Thus, years were spent constructing your spiritual armor. Energy vampires are repelled by the same genuineness that draws in true followers. The same honesty that attracts genuine opportunities also wards off deceptive tactics. It is the same self-respect that inspires admiration that deters disrespect. All of the forces come together at this point to form what can only be called your destiny period. The knowledge of your value, the allure of possibilities that coincide, the divine timing of your preparation, the legacy of your influence, the wealth of your success, and the leadership of your example. A moment of unparalleled potential is being formed by the crystallization of all these factors. The opportunities that are going to come your way will be not like anything you have ever encountered. Your increased capacity, your proved character, your developed abilities, and your evolved consciousness will all be properly matched by them. They will feel important and effortless, difficult and natural, unexpected and inevitable. It's not a place where you'll get there and then coast. You will continue to expand and sustain that frequency. Every success level will get you ready for the following service level. More effect will be possible with each breakthrough. Every accomplishment will provide the groundwork for a contribution that is much more significant. The cosmic orchestration that has led you to this moment is speeding up, not slowing down. The same intelligence that led to your metamorphosis is now driving your growth. You may now restore your relationship with your potential with the same love that restored your relationship with yourself. Through your example, People are now being set free by the same truth that set you free from limitations. And that leads us to the final realization that makes everything come together. Your personal change was never about you alone. The goal was to equip you to act as a catalyst for change on a communal level. Since the universe recognized that your genuine expression would trigger awakening in everyone you come into contact with, it made a significant investment in your recovery, development, and success. People are in awe of you for this reason. That's why people want to know how you solved it. They are observing your every action because of this. They are able to discern that you have connected with something that transcends personal growth or achievement. Your ability to access a frequency that changes everything it comes into contact with is palpable to them. The fact that your adventure is far from over is its most exquisite aspect. You have just begun your legend. What everyone is seeing is only the beginning of the change that will occur. The impact you are currently having is only a sneak peek at what you will eventually create. The prosperity you are currently enjoying is only the beginning of the wealth you are destined to manage. This explains why you are being watched so intently by everyone. They are able to sense the change in your energy field. Despite their inability to explain it, they are aware that something basic has changed and are working to identify it. Some people find inspiration in it. Others find it intimidating. There are others who are attempting to bottle it. You didn't discover a skill or put a plan into action to alter yourself. It meant giving up control of your true self. Stopping betraying your potential, dimming your light, and accepting anything less than the wonderful life you were destined to experience was a decision. It's almost time for the next chapter of your story, and it will be completely different from anything you've ever encountered. The recognition has solidified into an unwavering knowledge. The proper opportunities and individuals have been attracted into perfect alignment by the magnetic attraction. The heavenly timing has reached its peak, and the legacy you are building will soon accelerate beyond your wildest expectations. The future holds more than just prosperity in the traditional sense. When you live in total accordance with your mission, you experience a certain sense of fulfillment. All of the limitations you believed you had overcome will be called into question by the chances that are about to offer themselves. You may initially feel uneasy about the degree of authenticity they demand of you. They will insist that you rely on the same intelligence that planned your metamorphosis to plan your growth. Because they know that you've connected with something deep, everyone is in awe of you. Since people can observe the outcomes materializing in real time, they are curious as to how you came up with it. Because they know you've reached a frequency that changes everything it comes into contact with, they're watching every action you do. Nothing was solved by you. Everything was recalled by you. You made no new discoveries. Something immortal was discovered by you. There was no change in you. You changed into a real person. That burden you once carried was oppressive. That unceasing fear of what would happen. An unwavering sense that everything is playing out precisely as it should has taken its place. Understanding your actual value has produced a magnetic field that draws in anything that is in line with your highest good. The confluence of events that has been choreographed by divine timing will leave everyone wondering how you managed to make it appear so effortless. And the response you'll give them, if you decide to provide one at all, is the same response that has been accurate from the start. It was never about solving the problem. It was about recognizing your true self. The universe has been anticipating your memory. It's time to demonstrate your abilities to the world now that you have. The change that someone is seeing in you isn't the end of your narrative until they choose to fully embrace their truth. This is where your legend begins. You are currently on your way to a destiny that will encourage others to start their own path of remembering, driven by the same energy that guided you through your transformation. The burden has been removed. The world is observing the crystallized knowledge. The last thing that must be disclosed is this: the freedom that comes from accepting your lovely imperfections and your relationship with perfection. An underlying fear pervaded the entire journey. That you had to be perfect to be worthy of success, that you had to get everything right, and that any mistake would disqualify you from the destiny you were pursuing. You have been learning a revolutionary lesson from the cosmos. You can achieve success despite your flaws. You can't be authentic without them. The challenges you have surmounted do not deprive you of greatness. They meet the requirements for it. You're not broken, despite the scars you've healed. They are evidence of your tenacity. The biggest change of all has been brought about by this insight. The knowledge that you can be selected without being flawless. You can be valuable without being perfect. You are worthy even if you are not finished. It is precisely your humanity, with all its inconsistencies, messiness, and constant development, that makes you so alluring and motivating to others. Because you're flawless, you don't attract people. The reason they are drawn to you is your genuineness. They aren't motivated by your perfection. Your bravery in being true to yourself in spite of your flaws inspires them. Their search is not for a guru who has surpassed all human limitations. In their quest for divinity, they are seeking a fellow traveler who has discovered how to dance with their humanity. This acceptance of your flaws has revealed the last component of your allure. You've ceased attempting to project a polished image and have begun to be yourself. Someone who's been challenged, matured, failed, succeeded, doubted, believed, fallen, and risen again. For those who have been suffocating in a world of meticulously planned personalities and filtered presentations, this unadulterated sincerity is like oxygen. Despite your flaws, the success that is currently coming your way isn't. It's because you're willing to be flawed. The opportunities that are emerging aren't incentives for doing everything perfectly. They're appreciation for your bravery in continuing to try even when things don't work out. It's not because you know everything that you're influencing others. It's as a result of your sincere inquiries. We now arrive at the climax of all of this, when all the plots come together to form one overarching truth. The realization of your value, the allure of possibilities that match, the divine timing of your preparation, the legacy of your influence, the wealth of your prosperity, the leadership of your example, and the freedom of your authenticity. This point of total integration has been the result of all these factors working together. You aren't becoming anymore. You have changed. You have stopped preparing. You are prepared. You don't question your worth anymore. You're aware of it. You're not doubting your course anymore. You're walking it with complete assurance. You've given up on making a breakthrough. You are experiencing it. Your surroundings can sense this transition from becoming to being. Even you will be surprised at the devotion it inspires. Their admiration extends beyond your accomplishments. They are amazed at the person you have become. They're not only motivated by your accomplishments. The presence of you changes them. They are more than merely observing your path. It's an invitation to their own. This is the actual indicator of your change. Not what you have acquired, but what you have transformed into. Not your accomplishments, but your identity. Not what you own, but how you present yourself. The changes on the outside are merely mirror images of the revolution that has occurred inside of you. The cosmos has been anticipating this time. The point at which you would enter your role as a catalyst for societal enlightenment and completely embody your true self. You were being prepared for this responsibility by every obstacle you encountered. With each win, you increased your ability to provide this service. Your capacity to accommodate the transformation of others increased with each growing experience. Now that we've returned to the starting point of this tale, you can see how flawlessly everything was planned. You used to carry that oppressive burden and worry about the future all the time. Not all of the anguish was personal. Your rebirth's labor pains were the cause. It was more than just disorientation that was confused. The consciousness was chrysalis. The struggle was more than just a challenge. God had prepared it. The captivating presence, unwavering confidence, and effortless success that everyone is currently witnessing are not the product of solving a problem. It comes from remembering something that never goes away. You didn't learn these traits. You discovered them. This is not a power you developed. It was you who entered it. This fate was not created by you. You took it. The "how did you figure this out?" inquiry that everyone is asking has a basic misconception. There was nothing to decipher. All there was to recall was one thing. And what you recalled is the same truth that has been waiting in the hearts of all those who are fascinated by your metamorphosis. We are all chosen, but we have just forgotten our selection. Not only has the weight been removed from your shoulders, but it has also been removed from everyone's collective consciousness as they watch you ascend. Their heart is now crystallizing the knowledge that has formed in yours. The globe is currently undergoing the same metamorphosis that has occurred in your life. This is the meaning of being a chosen one. Not a person selected for preferential treatment by an outside power, but a person who has made the decision to express oneself authentically. Not someone chosen for comfort and convenience. Rather, someone who has chosen to grow and serve others. Not a person chosen for excellence. However, someone who has chosen to make the path of being fully human and totally divine a wonderful, messy, and amazing one. Once they have made their own decision, it's time to demonstrate what a chosen one looks like. Everything is in its proper place. The audience is observing. The focus is on it, and you're flawed, genuine, strong, and real.